September 1944. The winds over Brittany carried salt, smoke, and the relentless stench of war. For the Americans advancing toward Brest, the city was supposed to be a simple target, an ordinary port to capture before moving inland. Yet the moment the troops glimpsed the granite fortifications, machine gun nests, and camouflaged bunkers carved into cliffs, they were shocked. This fortress demanded everything they had to take it. General Hermann Bernhard Ramcke, inside a dimly lit command bunker, traced defensive lines on a weathered map, the lantern casting long shadows on his face. "They will be shocked at what they face," he muttered. A young signals officer whispered, "Herr General, civilians remain in the lower districts." Ramcke's gloved hand tightened. "War asks only who endures, not who suffers," he said with chilling resolve. Private James Holloway of the 8th Infantry adjusted his helmet as artillery echoed across the hills. "They said the fortress could never fall." "Do you believe that?" he asked Sergeant Carter, voice tight with nerves. Carter spat dust onto cracked earth. "Everything falls eventually, Jim. Some things just make you pay more first." Smoke from burning farmhouses spiraled into the grey sky as American troops pressed cautiously forward, dodging bursts of MG-42 fire. Inside the German outpost, Obergefreiter Lucas Brandt steadied his rifle, hands trembling but obeying orders. "Hold the line at all costs." "Feuer frei!" shouted his squad leader. Brandt fired as Americans crawled through shattered hedgerows. In the nearby village, civilians huddled in basements. Old Marie Le Gall gripped her grandson tightly. "They said the city would never fall," she whispered. "Yet it feels as if the sky itself is collapsing upon us." By dawn, the Americans regrouped behind a ridge. Lieutenant Robert Hale unfolded a worn map and jabbed a finger at a cluster of bunkers. "These fortifications weren't built for our century," he muttered. "They survived empires. They might survive us." An artillery observer radioed coordinates, and moments later, thunder erupted as American 155mm guns unleashed their fury. Shockwaves rattled the German tunnels, knocking lamps askew and choking men in dust. Brandt coughed violently inside his bunker, eyes watering. "Sir, the roof won't hold," his comrade shouted. The squad leader steadied him. "It held against the French, it held against the British, it will hold against them." Yet even his voice betrayed doubt. Above ground, American infantry pressed forward again. Engineers with flamethrowers cleared trenches. The smell of burning earth mingled with screams that echoed across the battlefield. Private Holloway paused beside a stone wall, heart hammering. "Why don't they surrender?" he whispered. Sergeant Carter leaned out, firing bursts down a trench. "Because someone told them they could not. Someone said this place must never fall, and men will die for a sentence like that." Inside the fortress, Ramcke received another report. The Americans were advancing faster than anticipated. Supplies were dwindling, water was scarce, ammunition rationed. Ramcke exhaled slowly, closing his eyes for a moment. "Then we tighten our grip. If the port falls, Germany loses a gateway to the Atlantic. The Führer ordered us to hold, and we shall hold." Yet even he could hear the distant thrum of approaching artillery. In the lower districts, civilians tried to flee, only to find roads blocked by rubble or German sentries. A small group approached a checkpoint, led by a terrified mother carrying a baby. "Bitte, let us pass," she pleaded. The young soldier hesitated, glancing at the child. "Go." "Quickly," he whispered, bending the rules of orders. Moments later, a superior officer barked, "What are you doing? Orders!" The soldier swallowed hard, but said nothing. War forced choices between obedience and humanity. Meanwhile, smoke rose over shattered rooftops as the siege intensified. The Americans, regrouping on the ridge, prepared for another push, while the Germans reinforced bunkers and repositioned machine guns. As night fell, Brest burned in scattered patches. The Americans dug in for the evening while Germans rearmed in tunnels. Lieutenant Hale wrote in his journal, "They will be shocked at what they face. The fortress may never yield, but we push on regardless. Civilians, I pray, survive the night." Nearby, Holloway shared a tin of rations with a comrade. "Do you think they sleep down there?" he muttered. "Sleep?" Carter grunted. "They're in stone bunkers. We're in mud. Guess who sleeps better?" Morning came grey and misted. The American artillery resumed, shells hammering the fortress walls. Soldiers whispered to one another. "They said the walls would never break," said Holloway. "Well, they'll be shocked today." Engineers moved forward, clearing mines. The wind carried the smell of wet concrete and smoke. Civilians peeked from hiding, terrified yet fascinated. Every explosion echoed through streets and tunnels, rattling nerves. Inside the fortress, Ramcke rallied his officers. "Hold fast! They will be shocked at our resilience. Brest does not fall while we stand." Brandt loaded another magazine, hands shaking. The younger soldiers followed silently, their courage forced from fear. Outside, American troops advanced through broken fields and destroyed houses. Carter shouted over the din, "Keep moving! Don't let them regroup!" Each step forward cost lives, yet they could not stop. Smoke filled the alleys as tanks fired their main guns. Shards of concrete and splintered wood flew in all directions. Marie Le Gall dragged her grandson deeper into a cellar. "We will survive," she whispered, though fear clutched her chest. From the ridge, Hale called coordinates for mortars, trying to avoid civilian structures, yet destroying German strongpoints. Each shell landing made the troops on both sides wince. By midday, the Americans had taken a small outer courtyard. Brandt watched helplessly from the top of the fortress wall. "They will be shocked at our tenacity," he muttered, though the truth was that exhaustion and fear gnawed at every soldier. In the tunnels below, ammunition was running low. Water supplies dwindled. Civilians huddled silently, praying for the chaos to end. Lieutenant Hale surveyed the damage. "We push them back, but the fortress adapts. They are engineers of war, and we are only intruders." Carter glanced at him, sweat on his brow. "They'll be shocked if they think we'll stop. We don't know how to quit." Beyond the ridge, artillery officers readied the next barrage. Explosions rocked walls and shattered windows. Smoke and dust filled lungs. Soldiers shouted, cried, and fired without pause. At dusk, the fortress still held, but cracks were visible. Ramcke moved among his men, offering words of encouragement. "You have done well today. They will be shocked at what we endure. Brest will remain ours until the very last man." Brandt looked at the sky, thinking of home, of warmth and family, but the sounds of battle reminded him of the present. Soldiers huddled in the ruins, exhausted yet alert. Holloway and Carter finally rested behind a collapsed wall. "I never imagined war like this," Holloway said. "Everything is burning, everything is dying, and yet they fight. They will be shocked when we finally break through." Carter nodded silently, checking his rifle. The night brought temporary silence broken by distant gunfire. Civilians slept fitfully, fearing dawn. The battle had only begun, but everyone knew it would leave scars too deep to heal. By nightfall, Brest was a city in shadow. Fires burned in scattered ruins, and cries of both soldiers and civilians echoed through streets. Ramcke reviewed maps one last time for the day. Tomorrow, they will be shocked at what we still command. Brest is ours to defend. Outside, the Americans dug in, preparing for the next morning. Soldiers huddled in trenches, clutching rifles, eyes wide with fatigue, yet ready to face whatever horrors the fortress would unleash. Dawn broke over Brest, grey clouds hanging low over shattered rooftops. The American artillery resumed with thunderous explosions, shaking the fragile streets. Soldiers huddled behind ruins, gripping rifles, eyes darting toward the fortress. "They said we'd never get this far," whispered Private Holloway. Sergeant Carter spat dirt from his lips. "Well, they'll be shocked at what's coming next." Smoke and dust swirled through the alleys, mixing with the acrid scent of gunpowder. Inside the fortress, Ramcke moved with precision. Lanterns flickered along the walls as he issued orders. "Hold your positions. They will be shocked at our tenacity. Every inch costs blood, but Brest remains unconquered." Brandt reloaded his weapon, shaking hands betraying exhaustion. "Sir, I am afraid," he murmured. Ramcke's eyes narrowed. "Fear is a privilege for those not in command. Do your duty." Outside, American engineers crawled toward demolished barricades, preparing explosives. The civilians remained trapped in their basements. Marie Le Gall clutched her grandson, whispering, "They said the bombardment would end by morning, but the earth still shakes. Stay close, my love." Each explosion sent dust down chimneys, rattling loose bricks. In the streets above, American infantry advanced cautiously, moving from rubble to rubble. Hale surveyed the city through a scope, whispering coordinates into his radio. Brandt's squad scrambled to repair a breach in the northern wall. "They are pushing forward faster than expected," his comrade shouted. "They will be shocked at our last defences." Yet exhaustion and hunger gnawed at the men. In the tunnels, water was rationed to a sip per soldier. Civilians shared meagre scraps, their eyes wide with fear. "We are trapped beneath death," whispered an old man. Holloway and Carter advanced through a partially destroyed street. "Keep your eyes open," Carter warned. "Every corner could be death." Smoke and debris filled the air, making every breath a struggle. "They'll be shocked we even made it this far," Holloway said. Shells slammed into nearby walls, sending shards of stone flying. The city seemed alive with death, and yet the Americans pressed on, determined to secure a foothold before nightfall. Inside the fortress, Ramcke inspected defences. "We hold this city. They will be shocked at our resolve. Brest will remain ours." Brandt peeked over the battlements, watching the Americans maneuver. His heart pounded. "Sir, they are unstoppable," he said. Ramcke's jaw tightened. "They are soldiers, yes, but we are defenders of a fortress. Let them be shocked by the walls we built, by the men who do not yield." Below, civilians braced for the next bombardment, praying for mercy that would not come. By midday, the Americans reached the inner courtyard. Hale directed mortar fire with precision, while Carter and Holloway provided cover. "They'll be shocked we're here already," Carter muttered. Smoke and flames engulfed sections of the fortress, forcing Brandt and his men to retreat to inner bunkers. The air was thick with gunpowder and fear. In the tunnels, Brandt whispered to his comrades, "They think they can take Brest, but they will be shocked at the depths we've fortified." His squad moved silently, listening to the muffled cries above. Explosions shook the walls, dust falling in chunks. Civilians huddled together, eyes wide, hearts hammering. Marie whispered prayers, clutching her grandson. We survive because they are shocked at our courage, she said, though doubt crept into her tone. Holloway fired from behind a crumbled wall. Keep moving, don't stop, he shouted. Carter covered him, bullets pinging off nearby stone. They'll be shocked if they see how stubborn these men are. Each advance cost lives. Men screamed, shells exploded, yet the Americans continued. Artillery above tore at the fortress walls, chunks of concrete raining down. Soldiers below braced themselves, ready to fire at anyone attempting to stop them. Ramcke moved through the fortress corridors. "Hold fast! They will be shocked at what we endure," he shouted. Brant reloaded frantically, chest heaving. Civilians peeked through cracks in the walls, praying they would survive another hour. Every explosion above shook the entire structure. The air was thick, the walls groaning. Yet the defenders held. Each gunshot, each movement, was a message to the attackers. Brest would not yield easily. As the afternoon wore on, the Americans secured several strategic positions. Holloway radioed coordinates for mortar strikes. "They'll be shocked at what we've captured," he muttered. Carter nodded, eyes scanning for movement. Explosions rocked the fortress, smoke curling into the sky. In the tunnels, Brant's squad huddled, weapons ready. "They will be shocked, but we fight on," he whispered, determination overcoming fear. Civilians braced themselves, some praying aloud, others silent, hearts racing. Night fell, and the fighting slowed to sporadic bursts. Fires burned through the ruins, casting eerie shadows across the city. Hale wrote in his journal, "They will be shocked at what we endure. The fortress may still stand, but the path ahead is ours to carve." Holloway and Carter rested behind a collapsed wall, sharing rations in silence. "Tomorrow," Carter said, "we push further. They'll be shocked if we keep this pace." Holloway nodded, staring at the horizon where the fortress loomed ominously. The next morning, Brest was cloaked in grey mist. Smoke rose from shattered streets, carrying the acrid scent of fire and gunpowder. American troops huddled in trenches and behind walls, scanning for movement. "They said the fortress was impregnable," whispered Private Holloway. Sergeant Carter adjusted his helmet. "They'll be shocked when we show them tenacity. Every step costs lives, but we press on." The wind carried distant echoes of artillery and cries of men. Inside the fortress, Ramcke reviewed damage reports. Bunkers had been breached, walls cracked, yet he remained resolute. "They will be shocked at our endurance. Brest is not taken lightly," he shouted to officers. Brant moved cautiously, clutching his rifle. "Sir, we are running low on supplies," he muttered. Ramcke's eyes hardened. "Survival is a luxury for others. Duty is ours. Do not falter." Civilians below, huddled in cellars, listened to the echoes of relentless gunfire. The Americans advanced through a narrow street, rubble and debris forcing them to crawl. Holloway signaled to Carter. "They'll be shocked at how far we've come. Keep low." Shards of stone and dust clouded the air. Each corner brought the threat of snipers or hidden explosives. Explosions from mortar shells shook nearby walls, sending fragments into the sky. Smoke choked lungs, and men struggled to maintain focus. Civilians peeked through cracks, eyes wide with fear, hearts hammering. Brant's squad retreated to inner tunnels, reinforcing barricades. "They are stronger than expected," he whispered. "They will be shocked at what we've survived." Ramcke patrolled the upper levels, issuing orders. "Hold fast. Every wall, every corridor. They must pay for each inch." Civilians in cellars whispered prayers. Marie Le Gall clutched her grandson tightly. They said the fortress would hold forever. Yet here we are, living through horror, she murmured. The air smelled of dust, sweat, and fear. Holloway and Carter reached a courtyard partially cleared of debris. "Watch the corners!" Carter shouted. Mortar fire exploded nearby, cracking stone and scattering dust. "They'll be shocked if we make it through this intact," Holloway muttered. Each building, each wall, had been rigged with explosives and snipers. Soldiers advanced cautiously, eyes wide, nerves taut. Behind them, artillery rumbled, adding another layer of chaos to an already devastating scene. Inside the fortress, Ramcke observed American troops pushing forward. "They will be shocked at our defense. Every man here stands against impossible odds." Brandt loaded another magazine. "Sir, they will break us eventually," he said quietly. Ramke's jaw clenched. "Then let them be shocked at the price we extract for each inch. Brest is ours, in spirit, if not yet in fact." Civilians prayed in silence, hoping for the night to bring respite. Explosions continued to echo, shaking walls and filling tunnels with smoke. By midday, the Americans had secured a key outer courtyard. Hale directed mortar fire with precision, while Holloway and Carter provided cover. "They'll be shocked at what we've captured," Holloway said. Smoke and flames engulfed portions of the fortress, forcing defenders deeper into bunkers. The air was thick with dust and gunpowder. Soldiers pressed forward, despite injuries and exhaustion. Every step forward was a testament to human determination in the face of relentless resistance. Brandt's squad moved silently through underground corridors. "They think they can take Brest, but they will be shocked at the depth of our defense," he whispered. Civilians clung to each other, listening to groans and cries from above. Explosions rattled walls, dust fell in heavy chunks, and fear mingled with resolve. "We survive," an elderly man muttered. "Shocked we remain alive, yet alive we are." The fortress was alive with tension, each man and woman holding on to courage like a lifeline. Holloway advanced behind rubble, firing as Carter covered him. "Don't stop now! Keep moving!" he shouted. Shells tore through walls, sending stone and debris in all directions. Each step was perilous. "They'll be shocked at how stubborn we are," Carter said, checking for movement. Americans pressed on despite casualties. Artillery above blasted the fortress walls, sending chunks of concrete crashing to the ground. Soldiers braced themselves, ready to fight for every inch. Ramcke walked the upper corridors, inspecting positions. "Hold fast! They will be shocked at what we endure," he shouted. Brandt reloaded, chest heaving, adrenaline pushing fear aside. Civilians peeked through cracks in the walls, hearts racing. Every explosion above shook the structure. Smoke choked the air. Defenders and civilians alike felt the fortress quiver under the relentless assault, yet none faltered. As the afternoon continued, the Americans seized more ground. Holloway signaled coordinates for mortar strikes. "They'll be shocked at our progress," he muttered. Carter scanned the streets, eyes sharp. Explosions ripped through walls, smoke curling into the sky. In the tunnels, Brandt's squad prepared to fire upon anyone approaching. "They will be shocked, but we fight on." Civilians braced themselves, some praying aloud, others silent. Fear and courage mingled as the day drew on. Nightfall brought intermittent gunfire and smoke drifting across streets. Fires burned in ruins, casting shadows over broken buildings. Hale wrote in his journal, "They will be shocked at what we endure. The fortress may still hold, but the path ahead is ours to carve." Holloway and Carter rested behind a collapsed wall. "Tomorrow we push further," Carter said. "They'll be shocked if we maintain this pace." Holloway nodded, staring at the fortress looming above, silhouetted against a darkening sky. By the end of part 3, Both sides were battered, exhausted, yet unyielding. Civilians remained trapped, witnessing destruction beyond comprehension. Soldiers, both American and German, had seen courage and horror, interwoven in ways that would haunt them forever. Every corner held danger, every wall a potential death trap. Yet each man pushed forward, each woman prayed for survival, and each human soul endured, knowing the fortress of Brest would forever be a monument to shock, fear, and resilience. The dawn of the final day arrived over Brest, heavy with smoke and fog. The fortress, once a symbol of German power, had been reduced to shattered walls, smoking rubble, and trembling defenders. American troops huddled behind ruins, gripping rifles and scanning every corner for movement. "They said the fortress would never fall," whispered Private Holloway. Sergeant Carter adjusted his helmet. "They'll be shocked at what comes next." The city smelled of gunpowder, fire, and fear. Inside the fortress, General Ramcke moved among his exhausted men. Lanterns flickered on walls coated in dust and blood. "Hold your positions. They will be shocked at our final stand," he shouted. Brandt reloaded his weapon, hands trembling. "Sir, we have little ammunition," he muttered. Ramke's jaw tightened. "Then we make every shot count. Duty is heavier than fear. Do not falter." Civilians huddled in basements, hearts pounding, listening to the echoes of relentless assault. American engineers crawled through broken streets, placing explosives to clear barricades. Holloway signaled Carter. "They'll be shocked we're this close. Keep low, move fast." Each step forward brought debris and danger. Snipers fired from ruined rooftops. Mortar shells slammed into walls, cracking stone and sending dust clouds into the sky. Civilians peeked from shattered windows, wide-eyed with terror, praying for a day that might never end. Brandt's squad retreated deeper into tunnels, reinforcing weak points. "They think Brest is theirs, but they will be shocked at what we still command," he whispered. Ramcke patrolled upper corridors, shouting, "Every inch! Make! Them pay for every inch!" Civilians below clutched each other, whispering prayers. Marie Le Gall held her grandson, trembling. "They said the fortress would endure forever. Yet here we are, surviving through hell," she murmured. The Americans breached an outer courtyard. Hale directed mortar strikes with precision, while Holloway and Carter provided covering fire. "They'll be shocked at what we've taken," Holloway said. Smoke and fire engulfed sections of the fortress, forcing defenders deeper underground. Dust, gunpowder, and screams filled the air. Soldiers pushed forward despite wounds and exhaustion. Every step was a testament to human will and resolve, facing resistance that had shocked them from the start. Brandt whispered in the tunnels, "They will be shocked, but we fight on." Civilians braced against walls as each explosion shook the fortress. Holloway fired from a ruined wall, shouting to his squad, "Keep moving! Don't stop!" Carter scanned for movement. "They'll be shocked if we get through this intact." The relentless advance continued, inch by bloody inch. Ramcke moved through corridors, shouting orders. "Hold fast! Make them shocked at our endurance!" Brandt reloaded frantically, chest heaving. Civilians peeked through cracks, hearts racing. Each explosion above shook walls and floors. Smoke filled the air. The defenders knew they could not hold forever, yet pride and duty forced them to resist. Every soldier and civilian became part of the fortress, entwined in the struggle for survival. By mid-morning, the Americans had seized key positions. Holloway signaled for more mortar strikes. "They'll be shocked at our progress," he muttered. Carter scanned alleys for movement, eyes sharp. Explosions tore through walls, smoke curling into the sky. Brandt's squad moved silently, ready to fire at intruders. "They will be shocked, but we endure," he whispered. Civilians prayed, hearts tight with fear. The city had become a maze of fire, rubble, and defiance. Shells pounded remaining walls. Fires raged across rooftops. American troops advanced cautiously, knowing the cost of every misstep. "They'll be shocked at how stubborn these men are," Holloway said. Each building, each wall was rigged with explosives, and snipers lurked in shattered ruins. Artillery shook the city, chunks of concrete raining down. Soldiers braced for death, determined to see the fight through. Civilians prayed for the hour when the shelling would end. Inside the fortress, Ramcke shouted, "Hold! They will be shocked at our resistance. Every inch of Brest is ours to defend." Civilians clung to walls, whispers of prayer mixing with groans above. Each explosion sent dust and debris into the tunnels. Smoke filled lungs. Fear and courage intertwined, and for a moment, all hearts beat with a single rhythm. Survival. As afternoon arrived, the Americans captured the final outer courtyard. Hale directed mortar fire on remaining fortifications. Holloway shouted across rubble, "They'll be shocked at what we've accomplished." Smoke and flame consumed the fortress in waves. The defenders retreated into the innermost bunkers, exhaustion and fear gnawing at them. Civilians remained trapped in their hiding places, hoping, praying, fearing, and surviving. Every step forward demanded sacrifice. Every breath risked death. The sun dipped low, casting long shadows over shattered walls. Ramcke moved through his last defences. "They will be shocked at the cost we exacted," he shouted. Brandt whispered, exhausted, "We've done all we can, but they are unstoppable." Civilians braced themselves, clutching children, whispering prayers into the smoke-filled air. Artillery continued to roar, echoing across streets and tunnels. The fortress groaned under bombardment, yet every defender stood, determined to resist until the final moment. Night fell, and the final moments approached. Fires burned through the fortress. American troops pressed the attack, aware that the end was near. Holloway radioed coordinates, calling in mortar strikes. "They'll be shocked if they survive this last push," he muttered. Carter scanned the area, gun ready. Soldiers pressed forward with exhaustion and courage interwoven. The defenders, depleted and surrounded, prepared for the final stand. Civilians huddled in silence, hearts racing. At the final hour, the fortress walls crumbled. Ramcke issued his last commands. "They will be shocked at what we have endured." Brandt fired his last rounds before surrendering. Civilians emerged cautiously, eyes wide at the devastation surrounding them. American soldiers moved through rubble and smoke, shocked themselves at the scale of destruction. Holloway and Carter shared a glance, exhausted, knowing victory came at an unimaginable cost. Brest had fallen. The city was a shadow of its former self, walls reduced to rubble, streets littered with debris. Survivors, soldiers and civilians alike, stared in disbelief at the ruins. The fortress had fought to the last, and yet it had succumbed. "They'll be shocked at what we faced here," Holloway whispered. Carter nodded. "Shocked, yes, but we endured, and those who survived, they will remember." Civilians, still shaken, began to move through the streets. Marie Le Gall held her grandson tightly. "We survived," she murmured, her voice trembling. Soldiers helped them through rubble, checking for injuries. Fires burned low, and smoke drifted across the city as night fell. The fortress had fought to the last, and yet it had succumbed. "They'll be shocked at what we faced here," Holloway whispered. Carter nodded. "Shocked, yes, but we endured. And those who survived, they will remember." Civilians, still shaken, began to move through the streets. Marie Le Gall held her grandson tightly. "We survived," she murmured, her voice trembling. Soldiers helped them through rubble, checking for injuries. Fires burned low, and smoke drifted across the city as night fell. The fortress of Brest had resisted, shocked, and battered both sides, leaving an indelible mark of courage, fear, and the price of war.